Sato stared at Miki. The thought he had earlier still bothers him. Because of how he intensely stared at Miki, it made her nervous, and she asked what was wrong. He snapped back to reality and apologized, although it was somewhat weird. But Miki continued discussing her plan. From the fight they had the other day, they managed to acquire several new zombies, steady food supplies, and a few people. They also learned about the zombies' combat potential. Saruwatari will be the one who gathers information for them. Although some of the zombies have been damaged, this was filled in by Kamigawa's squad, who have been zombified. The surviving zombies should have much higher combat potential. Although they managed to acquire food and people, with the many people they have now, the food would not last forever. Because of that, they now need to find ways to grow their own food. At present, their combat power hasn't drastically changed, but neither have their resources, as those are just temporary. The biggest change worth noting is their new information and their experiences in deploying zombies and Saruwatari. When Miki was testing those zombies individually, she knew that some were better suited for combat. Zombies have particular strengths and aptitudes. Based on this, she will rank them based on their stats. A to C class zombies. A class zombie is where IY is classified as. The B class is Ishigaki from the judo club, along with Mori and Kamigawa, while C class are those average zombies. From the fight, it was a give and take. They saw how powerful their zombie army was, but only IY was the one who came out unharmed. Besides him, all of the zombies are somehow damaged. In other words, zombies aren't invincible. Karin Bud is smiling cutely. Then Miki said as if to prove Karin's point that most of the zombies can be killed by a weak little girl like her. But it looks like Sato has something to say about that comment of hers. Does bro really want to die that badly? He barely escaped death. Huh. Zombies might not be invincible, but A-class zombies are in another league. Even Karin can't handle multiple Iwases, but it is still impressive to handle a large man like him. It was also strange when Karin fought with IY. Members of the judo clubs were all lined up. It was as if they were watching a tournament. Miki answered that it was probably because of their personality as martial artists, so in this world, zombies still have their personalities. Just imagine what a zombie soldier would do while holding a gun. In the future, there will be a lot for the three of them to handle. That's why they need to look for more survivors who can cooperate with them. But if it comes down to a fight, A-class zombies are the main foundation for their kingdom's army. Both Karin and Sato nodded in understanding with that. Miki will now go over Saruwatari's information he provided to them. It seems Sato is cautious of him now. With Saruwatari's information and her own, she compiled it all into one. She erased the board and drew a map. The star represents the school, and the circle represents the store where Iwasa's group is, while the other marks are where their enemies are. Among the local groups, Saruwatari and Miki only declared 3 groups to be dangerous. First is a group using a building in K-City as their stronghold. This group is called Kantushensingumi, which is basically a mafia. Since the outbreak, they have accumulated a lot of resources and gathered people from criminal organizations all over the world. They already have 800 members in total. Anyone would be shocked to know if they have a mafia with 800 members in their neighborhood, especially in a lawless land like theirs. Having that in mind, in the north using T University facility where a group called Science Zombies. A group of college students from STEM fields, it is said that they have about 500 members, but information about them is limited. And lastly, in the N city, they have a group called Rooks and there are about 30 of them. Of all the 3, this one is the most dangerous one. Sato asked why are they the most dangerous one when they only have 30 members. Miki explains that Rooks stands for Real World Champion, a group of martial experts. Just like them, they are an elite group that kills zombies only with their bare hands. Basically 30 people like Miki and Karin. That's practically cheating at this point. Being a small group is also an advantage for them. They only little food and they are more mobile. If Mori's group quartet is parasites sucking up to their own group, the RWCs would likely be hunters. In the past month, they've attacked other groups and looted their food. That's why there is so much information for them. The other 2 groups stayed in their own stronghold. They haven't caused much communion. Unlike the RWCs where they always causing trouble, since they can kill zombies they can also easily escape from them, which means they can move freely. They don't need to stay in their base to be safe. That's because zombies aren't a threat to them. They are the threat. To them, killing a regular zombie is like killing a bug. But the biggest problem is not yet announced, because the biggest problem is that they are heading southwest, which is where their school are. This shocked both Sato and Karin. It's been a month since the outbreak. Those survivors group will make their move sooner or later. To survive this they have 2 objectives. First is they need more A-class zombies to launch counterattack and they need to eliminate the RWCs. To do that they need to go to somewhere specific. This gets Sato nervous and asked where. Karin smiles, and answered that they are going to a concert hall, which leave the 2 in confusion. Confused as to why Miki wants to go to the concert hall. Will they kidnap an idol to perform a concert for their zombie army? Miki shook her head and said that concert halls aren't only used for that. On the day of the outbreak, a particular one is holding a special event. Sato gasped. He remembered the one event on the outbreak. He shouted the name of the event, which was Bride. The super arena was conducted in a concert hall. Miki didn't expect Sato to know this, but how could he not? It was the fight of the century, Takeda versus Jackson. Karin is confused and doesn't know what he is talking about. Sato continued, saying that in the evening, in the super arena, there was a mixed martial arts event. A match between the biggest name in their country, named Bride. A fight to be chosen and take the title of the strongest bride on earth. In other words, the ultimate bride. Keys. I've been searching what bride means in boxing or MMA, but I kept on seeing that it's the woman on the altar. If there's a bride, would there be also a groom? Back to what I was saying. On that day Sekigahara was defending his title. Sekigahara was originally a boxer, winning a few belts before changing to MMA. Boxing or MMA, he's been undefeated. He's considered a legend throughout the country, and one of the strongest and most famous fighters. He gasped and realized that he'd been yapping all this time without realizing it. Karin blinked in surprise for this. She didn't know that Sato would be a martial arts otaku. But he's not wrong. We once dreamed or trained how to fight as a man. Having that said, this would make things easy for Karin to explain. Sato has a bad feeling about this when Miki says that they will capture more A-class zombies. She means one thing, and that is to capture the undefeated monster, Sekigahara. Sato shivered when he heard this. He didn't expect this. My boy, you should expect this to happen by now. They immediately made their move, using the truck. Using the phone call, Sato asked if Takeshi would be nearby. Maybe he escaped when the outbreak happened. Miki answered that they won't know unless they go there, but the possibility are low. They don't know what happened when the outbreak started. And information is slow in the waiting room. Even if they somehow know something is wrong, it's hard to imagine he escaped right away. That's why the possibilities are high that the participants are still inside. It makes sense since it happened right before the match. How unlucky can you be when a zombie apocalypse starts, and you're inside a concert hall, lol. Then, Karin said, smiling, that a strong martial artist could handle zombies like her. So Karin thought that maybe he killed the zombies and escaped. But Miki reasoned an arena with 22,000 people in the middle of confusion. Even if one is only infected, it would spread rapidly. No matter how strong a person is, if it's a horde of zombies, you're good as dead if they surround you. Karin laughed and said good point, but it was not a laughing matter. That's 22,000 people who died, you know. Right after the outbreak, the arena must have been filled with zombies. Some might follow the noise outside, but some might stay inside. After a whole month, a lot of those zombies inside most likely followed the noise outside by now. This was their chance. They traveled towards the arena. It was uneventful. And finally, after some time they arrived. Found a place to park and inside the truck. Miki instructed that their priority is capturing Sekigahara, but that's not all. Sato grinned, laughing devilishly. Karin was confused and asked if she meant Takeshi's opponent. But Sato answered proudly that in a tournament, there isn't just the title match but another small match as well. The tournament has 7 matches total of 14 fighters. You brought the truck to carry them all right, he said, grinning and acting cool. That's cringe. Those two didn't expect him to be this smart. Even our queen has an interesting face she's making. And since many of the participants came from a gym with other members, many of those fighters came to support their friends. In other words, there should be a lot of A-class zombies inside. Those A-class zombies should be inside the participants' waiting match. Miki verified their routes using the internet. Although the number of zombies inside the arena decreased, there were still thousands of zombies inside. Then, Karin had an idea. She looks for it inside the box and points out the drone that they will use. Using the drone, they can see inside the building with its camera. At the same time, they can play music to lure the zombies away. Using this method, they can lure the zombies away. If they do this a few times, they could lower the number of zombies inside. The sun is already setting, and this is taking them a lot of time. The whole place is enormous after all, and it's still a long way to the waiting room. Though it takes a lot of time, they cleared out a lot. There should be only a few more left. Miki asked Sato to take over, and he agreed. Looking at the laptop where the live camera is, then they saw something. It's not a zombie, Miki immediately said to Sato to turn back. Complied and turned to the corner. Everyone's surprise, they found a little girl inside.